broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Endlessrise VIP bi-weekly webinar series. Yes, this one was rescheduled from Thursday because on Thursday, me and Trevor are flying to Denver to the local summit, and that's Trevor breathing in the background. Creepy. So,
shall I mute my mic?
Yeah, that'd be fine. If everyone can hear me okay, if you can just give me a shout out, let me know my microphone's doing okay. I'm coming to you clear from Iowa right now. So shout out, people can hear me okay. Hopefully you can see the screen okay as well. You'll see my PowerPoint up. You can see the screen okay. Make sure that you let me know. Everyone's saying loud and clear and visual is good to go. So you know that if you can't hear real clear or see the screen, that it's on your side. Funny little story. Trevor came running to me about an hour ago and said that, hey, we have a webinar because we're sitting on Central Time. So we actually launched the webinar an hour ago and was wondering what was going on there. So, Trevor, good job.
You're welcome.
Heavy breathing. Okay, Trevor, if you can mute your mic, I'll be getting through this presentation, and to take a gauge on everyone that's in attendance, this is a recap of the turn 1 lead into 50 strategy. If people can give me a shout out and let me know how many of you have already seen the initial turn 1 lead into 50 strategy, because this is a recap and I need to see how many people have seen it and how many have not, so I kind of gauge how much of the initial presentation I'm going to get through versus how much recapping I'm going to do. Send in your vote. It will dictate our direction on this and save you some viewer time if you've already seen it. Got a great comment from Darwin. I've seen it. It was good enough to see it again. Okay, great. We've got a lot of people that haven't seen it, though. So for those of you that have already seen it, bear with me, and we're going to go through the basics, okay? And I'm going to get through the basics a lot quicker than I did the first time. And then I'm going to be bringing on two guest speakers who have been using some software in conjunction with this strategy, and to be able to speak about how they do some things differently. And I'm going to go ahead and bear with me. I'm going to promote those two people up as panelists. So let me get them up so that they can chime in. And some people are saying the audio is a little bit choppy. Me and Trevor are coming to you live from Iowa. So I did do a speed test on the internet, and it was testing at 6 Mbps download and 2 Mbps upload. I would assume that should be good enough. Let me go ahead and get these people promoted, and we will get kicked off here immediately. Bear with me here. Yes, this webinar will be recorded. We are traveling, so it's not going to be uploaded right away. And Trevor, if you can keep an eye out for Rusty and maybe hit Rusty up on Skype and make sure that he's going to be on the webinar with us here. He's probably coming in a little bit late. I'm going to go ahead and promote Greg up. Greg, you can chime in anytime you want, Greg, as well, and I'll start getting through this presentation. Then we'll get to our guest presenters, and we'll also be giving shouts out to anyone on the line that has used the strategy or some of the lead mining software, such as the localizer lead tool or lead kahuna. When we get to the point to where we're going to be asking people for feedback on their lead strategies, keep in mind your story, and if you want to give a shout out, I will promote you up into panelist for a couple minutes to talk about what you might want to share with the audience. So we're going to have some collective knowledge sharing going on, and the whole idea is you share some knowledge, they share some knowledge, everyone helps everyone out here. So with that in mind, we will all help everyone to become better. Okay, turn 1 lead into 50. I'm going to go through the initial quick presentation here, and then we're going to get into some of the recapping on it. So the initial problem with generating leads typically is the problem with closing them, right? The usual issue with generating leads is finding the lead, first of all. And the purpose of this workflow is to achieve success for nearly any person, assuming you have the social skills, intelligence, and perseverance to close the leads once they are on your table. A lot of you probably have been using methods to generate leads such as cold calling, reputation management, outreach, generic email campaigns, physical mailing, online networking, or in-person introductions, which do work well to generate the leads. A lot of these are a large time investment into the potential lead. The probability of closing might be low, and if you're putting a lot of initial time into finding the lead, there's a vicious rinse and repeat cycle, and this can get discouraging and depressing to salespeople. Not only to yourself as the CEO or maybe the sales director of your company, but especially if you're running people on commission as salesmen or saleswomen, they might run out of motivation because they're putting a lot of time into initial leads and not able to close them. Keep in mind, of course, the SEO, online marketing, and to a certain degree, design sales is a consultative sale. It's difficult to just rush out there and sell it, although web design is a little bit easier on that. Problem, 47% of B2B marketers say they either close fewer than 4% of all marketing generated leads, or they don't even know this metric. So yes, 1 is a low closing ratio. 2 is people that do not even track their closing ratio, which it might be even worse than that. Everyone's looking for a solution wherein you can start your sales effort within 5 minutes. If you have salespeople that are on the table ready to go, imagine you just woke up, you feel like conquering the world. Maybe you watched Rocky the night before and you're all pumped up and want to climb the stairs and go close down everything, but you don't have leads on your table. What do you do with that energy, and where do you go with it, right? Typically, you want a lead in your hand in 5 minutes, especially with sales guys, if possible. It's the reason why whenever they run call centers, they generate the leads for them, put it in front of them, and they don't have them mine them. You need a scalable solution to increase your efficiency and reduce costs, especially in sales. And you want to increase your odds of closing the leads that do hit your door. So, as you know from the initial presentation, the stereotypical lead workflow. You go out, you find a lead one way or another. Previous options we went over. You do the sales pitch and you close them or not. You stop and you typically start again from scratch with the exact same strategy. And quick diagram here, you gather your leads. If you're using our system, of course, you submit a proposal request, you receive back the free research, brilliantly done by our research team and our free automated reports for you. Pitch the client, hope for the best. Maybe you're sitting at a 15% odds closing ratio. From our statistics, that's about right. And if you close them, the client closes. If not, they say no. You go back, you give up, you go and look for a new lead in any area that's out there, typically in any industry, and you start again from scratch. The problem with this is the rinse and repeat cycle that can get discouraging with it. And some quick notes that I had on this. As per our records, it takes the average salesperson. The average salesperson has about a 15% chance of closing a qualified lead. It would take the average salesperson 7 qualified leads based on those percentages in order to be able to close one of them, given the average closing percentages we see in the industry today. The average total time of one salesperson would put into closing one qualified lead is roughly 6 hours, and that's all the meetings put together in prep time. Given the above numbers, using the stereotypical lead workflow, again, depends on how qualified that lead is, it would take one salesman or saleswoman with 7 qualified leads, 42 hours investment time trying to close those leads. And this makes a lot of sense to me whenever you go to think about well, from our end, given that we consult marketing companies, the issues that people have with getting consistent business in through their front door. Now, why most companies remain stereotypical and do not pursue a niche? Well, of course, one of the ways to increase your chances of closing a leader is to build up more sales collateral and more resources and more offerings towards a particular niche in the industry, of course. A lot of people view going after a particular niche as a risk, but a niche could be an opportunity instead, right? So going into a niche means that, yes, you might model your sales collateral and your site towards, say, plumbers or chiropractors or dentists or contractors or landscapers or plastic surgeons. But the thing about going into a particular niche is that if you build up your entire sales strategy, your sales collateral, your testimonials, and your site image, and maybe some other software or resources that you have towards that particular niche, it'll make you specialized in that niche. And when people will look at you versus your competition, they're going to look at you versus the other companies that specialize in their niche.